you've got three business owners, three employers on this call. Hopefully you're going to be able to watch this YouTube video. If you don't watch this video 25 times and take notes on everything that they've given you, get your hustle together, get your answers crisper, get your customer voice ready, take some of these tactics that they're giving you to stand out, show up excited, show up prepared, show up, and get turn up the volume on your own attitude and your own hustle. You're not going to win. But if you listen to what these men and ladies have told you, and you take notes, and you literally take 2 hours and write down on a piece of paper each of the things that they've suggested to you, figure out what's going to work for you. Like I said, get your answers crisp, get your facts quicker together, and show up ready to hustle. You're going to land a job. But as I see you right now, you're not ready. But if you listen to what these people have told you today and up your game, you're gonna succeed.
Thank you.
Nice. So, how's it going? You're on call this week, or what?
I am. I'm on call this weekend. Well, I have my apprentice on call this weekend, and I'm his backup. But so far, we have calls, and I know it's just because it's not only me on call. Because every time I'm on call, I'm like the black cloud. I get screwed. Anytime anyone else is on call, they get no calls. And so I'm experimenting here. I'm like, if I don't put myself on call, then, we're not getting any calls, which is nice.
That's nice, yes. There's like an unwritten secret rule that when you're on call, you never tell anyone that you're on call, because that jinxes it, and then you get all the calls.
Exactly. So... You have a quiet call. Why did you say that? No.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, man. Hey, Nicholas. Hi. Is it Nick or is it Nicholas?
I go by Nick, but either way.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I prefer Nick, so that's okay.
I didn't want to wake up my family, so I just went in the car.
There you
That's
go.
kind of you. Yeah, I didn't realize that it was like the time change today. So I got up and I was like, why am I so tired? And it's like so late already. And I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, my mom was still asleep.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice of you that you don't want to wake them up.
Yeah, no.
So you just got out of trade school, right, Nick?
Yeah, in December.
Okay.
And ever since
so you've been looking for
So
you've been looking for a job for 3 months?
Yeah.
Where have you applied? You replied to any like residential outfits or anything like that, or are you looking mostly to do commercial?
I mean, I prefer to do commercial, but honestly, at this point, I stopped caring, so I kind of just started applying everywhere, like any job, like installer as well.
Yeah. I started out doing install work for a lot of C-stores and Walmarts and stuff. I started out in construction, and that taught me a lot, just how things go together and how things work. And I would like to recommend that to like everybody in the trades, is like get your feet wet in construction, and I feel like it'll click more because you're building all that stuff, you're putting it all together, you're starting it all up. So that's nice.
I think I did apply
to agree with that. Sorry, what?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I agree with Mac 100%. Like my background is a little bit different because I came from maintenance, so I never really did a lot of installs and construction. And now sometimes I look back and I was like, well, I wish I would have just like done at least like a year or something in new construction or like unit replacements. It's like it's so valuable because you learn how everything goes together, how the duct, how airflow, like how to measure things, how like all the different fittings, gas lines. You get like so much different experience. I would almost like recommend to anyone, if you're early on, like try different things and go into installs, even though it's like tough.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It is tough, and especially with like your commercial refrigeration and chillers as well, installing those and like piping in those. But it's hard work, but you get a different side of it. You get a different knowledge of it, which, I'd recommend. You get a brazed big pipe, 2-in-1, all that crap, 3-inch sometimes. So just putting it all together, building it, learning how to fix plans, it's really, really helpful. I did reach out to What the hell's his name? He's some sort of, not a recruiter for Cool Sis, but he kind of, pulls resumes and kicks them
Yeah.
out branches. So I did reach out to him asking if there's any way he could reach back out to the Bray, California branch in Anaheim, because I know that's around where you live, to see if there's just like anything. Like at this point for you, I would, even if they offer you like an install job, take it. Like
Yeah,
commercial,
I'm willing to take it.
like anything at this point. So hopefully coming from me, since I'm the service manager out here in Boise, I don't know if it will pull a little bit more weight, but if it does and you do end up getting something, don't make me look bad.
No, I won't.
So
No, I mean,
Just wanted to
Nick,
see.
he's so gung ho. He like goes out and he talks to everyone, and I mean, even now, like you just joined the community what, like 3 days ago, and now you're like here asking questions and
yeah,
putting
that's
yourself on the spot. So that's crazy.
I've I've also learned it's not, and this is like, a dumb saying, but it's not like what you know, it's who you know. If you know anybody in the trade, if you have friends that are in the trade, it's way easier to like get in because someone can kind of pull for you a little bit. So I
Yeah,
have,
they vouch for you, and also then you have like the resource there. Like if somebody at my company would help me like get hired, I know them, so I can always reach out to them. So if I run into a problem, then it's also easier for me to resolve it because my buddy is there or something, So
yeah. So trying to like, are you in touch with anybody that you went to trade school with?
I'm in touch with like 2 other of the students and also another one, but cause he went to my high school, so we were already friends, and we went together. Like we signed up together, and like I'd take him, but honestly, like he's not really like motivated to get a job. Like he doesn't really try.
Yeah,
So
well, that's unfortunately a person that, and you'll learn this. I mean, you're young, you can't be around those people or like hang out with them or try to even help them. Like, you honestly just got to like get out there and do yourself. I know you're young and you're motivated, and this is not an easy trade. It's rough, it takes time and patience and practice. You're not going to know everything in your first couple of years. I mean, I didn't know my ass from a screwdriver 7 years ago or what a compressor is, and now I run a whole branch. So it takes a lot of dedication and time, and if this is something you like want to stick to it, and this will be a lifelong career for you. And that's, you're getting into it younger than I did. I think I was 24 when I started. I wish I would have started earlier. But like, good for you, good on you for doing this, setting yourself up for success here. But just know this is not easy.
yeah,
But
I know it took me like 3 years before I felt like okay, now I kind of know my stuff, and I think after 5 years, it's like somebody asked me, it's like, when was the point where you thought that you like were good? And I was like, I think it took me like 5 years before I was like, I like when I get a call, I'm like, okay, I feel confident. I can at least figure out what's going on like 99% of the time, like
yeah,
with all the resources and what I learned and all the different like intricacies and stuff. So
absolutely.
it's, yeah, but it's so rewarding. Like, I mean, I can support my entire family just by me working. Like, my wife doesn't have to work; she wants to work. But it's so like amazing, and also the community is so great. Like, you have trade shows, you have, I mean, our community, but like
Yeah,
also friends, like technicians. You meet technicians in the supply house, and you just start talking to them. You exchange numbers, and then they become lifelong friends. So it's really cool.
absolutely. There's been times, like looking back at it, like now I can diagnose something in 2 minutes where 4 years ago it would take me 3 hours. So just like building up your knowledge of things, continuously learning, asking questions. Go home every night after work and watch YouTube videos. I mean, Sasha has some great videos. Chris, what channel does Chris do? He does like HVAC videos. So he'll actually, go out there on like a walk-in cooler and be like, okay, let's get into it and diagnose what's wrong with it. Those videos tremendously
Yeah,
help
he's
me.
he's on YouTube now.
Yeah, he's YouTube.
HVAC videos. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
and so even after, in trade school, like, you don't learn shit in trade school. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say, like, everything that you're going to get yourself into and out in the field, it's going to be completely different. I mean, having basic like electrical knowledge, I think is like great, and you will use that. But anything else, it's very difficult to apply in the real world, and that goes for like anything. That's kind of my 2 cents on that. But I mean, nowadays, like, I mean, I didn't go to trade school, and I was really fortunate. I got grandfathered in, but nowadays it is not like that. No one will take you without that. I don't know if anyone else has had that experience or didn't do trade school or whatnot, but
I mean, that's one of the things we wanted to discuss. I see Frederick just joined, and yeah, I wanted to see with Nick. Hey, because Nick, yeah, you just got out of trade school, so I figured you have specific questions that are very relevant in your job search because you're going through that right now. And then I asked Frederick also to be here, and he made time, so thanks. Because he runs a business down in Houston called Solutions, and you do residential, light commercial, and refrigeration, no?
Hello, everyone. I want to apologize. Sorry, I was running a little late. Last night, it poured in Houston, Texas. Like
Ooh.
so a lot of there's kind of like a lot of flooding going on, but not like the city flooded. It's just there's so much water. They got into a garage, and my wife was leaving, and then anyhow, so that extra 5 minutes was like me taking off my shoes to come inside the house. Um, 2 babies under 2, everything's unexpected on a Sunday. So want to apologize. I'm late, but yes, I run a company here in Houston, Texas. We do commercial refrigeration and commercial air conditioning and residential. We started more on the commercial side because I think my father and I were thinking more like technicians. It takes, and this is good for you, Nicholas, to kind of learn this. A lot of times you start as a helper, apprentice, running ductwork, maybe helping carry tools as an installer. First time you go to a service call, your hands are sweating, you're nervous. You want to make sure in my case, my father was already on the other line to see if I needed to ask him a question and call him. So find yourself that partner as well, somebody that you can call when you run your first service call. It's like, hey, the system's not turning on, and you even forget like to go look at the thermostat should be the first thing you should check at, and you just went where the homeowner took you, and it was an outdoor unit, and I'm like, okay, it's not turning on, what do I do? And the homeowner's watching me, and I don't want to call my father at this time. I started at
That
age
is off.
22, but it kind of
It
reminded me because I
happens to
just saw,
me.
yeah,
People are like, the
it
AC is not working, and I diagnose everything, and then it was just the thermostat. So I'm like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
exactly. And it was literally that was my first residential service call. And we started the business when I was 22, so I was very very young. But I had run service calls with my father all growing up. And so as you learn service calls residentially, a lot of times as a technician, then you move on to commercial, and then you move on to ice machines. By that time, you're 10 years in the making. Some of these technicians that are commercial techs, they don't want to go back to do residential work. They almost feel like it's beyond them until COVID hits, and then restaurants were closed for 3 months, 4 months, and those commercial techs were open to go take residential service calls. At least that's what happened in our experience. And so yeah, so now we do a lot more residential as well because cash flows faster. It's easier to find technicians that know how to do residential work versus commercial guys. I think it takes a little bit more skills, more diagnostic skills. Residential work, I just think it's a piece of cake. You got a contactor, a compressor outside, and a capacitor, and some freon going through those tubes. Indoor, you got a blower, motor, and a
Yeah, we need
heat
to
strip.
we need to get him into that position where he can run those
E-
calls. So what
Exactly,
would you say is
exactly.
like as a business owner, what would you say is like one of the main things that you're looking for when you're hiring? Because obviously when you're going to trade school, you are already like it already shows that you are investing in yourself because trade school is not
Hmm.
cheap. Like I've heard anything from 5,000 to 25,000 for trade school, so you're already investing. And then when you're done, it's like you get the knowledge or the skills to be at least hired. And now Nick has been looking for a job for 3 months. And how many companies did you apply to already? Do you know, Nick? Just a
I don't
rough
know the
estimate.
specific number, but probably around 50 to 60, maybe.
Yeah. So that's like crazy. So either there's something
Hmm.
in the application process or there's some kind of missing things. I was curious from you as a business owner, is there like one thing that you say, this is really like, if the person has that, we would hire them even if they did trade school or they did not choose trade school.
I think if they did trade school, or even if they didn't do trade school,
Yeah,
what do you
just like
think of that?
or is there a
Well, I was just
difference?
asking.
Like,
Yeah. No,
like what's
I
the one
think
trade you're looking for? What is the one trade you're hiring for as a
the
business
number
owner?
one, the number one trade I think I posted there in the school community, attitude, the person's attitude, right? We can train for skills. I've trained a lot of people for skills, and I always feel very proud of this. That I had a 55-year-old quit his job after 15 years of doing that work, and he learned air conditioning just because he wanted. He saw me working. I was like, I don't know, his nephew's girlfriend's house or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, I want to pick up this trade." And he had never, ever, ever went on a service call. And he just asked me if he can run service calls with me on Saturdays. 4 Saturdays later, he's like, "Hey, I want it full time." I'm like, "You don't know how to fix an air conditioner." And a 55, I say this, I'm proud because we take longer to learn the older we get, just like a kid learning another language when they're young. It's easier to learn, or a kid learning snowboarding or skiing. They learn a lot faster as they're younger. As we get older, it takes us time. So if he can learn, I feel like anybody can learn the skill. But it's the attitude, right? He didn't show up.
And how do
He
you
didn't.
distinguish attitude? Like I
I,
mean, for
I,
me,
I, I,
attitude is like, okay, I say hi and I smile, but like it could be like what is
I'll give you
as
this example a lot. Is like when somebody shows up with their hands in their pocket. I've seen that somebody ask me for work out on a job
Mm,
site, and kind of like hands in their pocket, just looking at me what I'm doing. Like commercial work, and you go to restaurants and a lot of these Mexican restaurants, or any restaurant. There's a lot of Hispanics in the kitchen, and there's guys that kind of like just take a little smoke break and they kind of watch you. And then there's another guy, for example, another case situation. I was lifting a compressor, right? And he just like climbs the ladder, lifts the compressor with me, I'm like, and then he helps me carry the compressor across the rooftop. And same thing, asks me for a job. Like you're always getting asked, but you see the difference on one
yeah,
person, like
absolutely.
carrying you, and the other person is taking a smoke break. He's like, "Oh, so how much do they pay? What do they do? What are you guys hiring?" Right? And the other guy's
Yeah,
like
that's true.
actively, right, doing
Yeah, you
that.
have like the go get 'em attitude, kind of like
Hmm.
they're like involved. They wanna you can see that they're driven to actually get it done. Yeah.
Exactly. Those are the things. So I think attitude, and then hiring for skill. And I'm gonna give you another example of my cousin, who's now my right hand man. Same thing. We were putting in compressor in one of these trucks, not ice cream, but shaved ice trucks, and is semi-hermetic compressors. So it's a huge thing. And I could not put that last bolt. I had already put four to anchor it down. I had already put three bolts. I was at the point where I'm like, I cannot. My hands are too big. Like I cannot. And he's young. At this time, he was probably like 20 years of age. He's now worked for me 8 years, so he's probably, or maybe 10 years now. He's in
That's
his
like you
30s,
know,
maybe.
Nick.
Yeah, but he
You're
was younger
20
than
now.
me. I wish I'm 37, but he's younger than me, like at least 10 years. So I think he was probably 18, and his smaller hands just were able to get that last the bolt underneath, and just like very slowly put it through, right? And but he's not holding just a flashlight, right? He's like already giving me the next tool, and
Yeah. Mm,
that's a big difference. I'm like he knows before I even ask him, can I borrow such and such tool? I can't even think of the name sometimes, and he's already like, "This is what you need, and this is what you need." And then
nice.
that last little bolt, he's kind of like, "Move over." I ended up
Mhm.
teaching him how to braze on that job, right? On that one job, and he was literally just he's an architect by school. He was literally just here for the summer, right? And now he's one of my full time guys, just because he's like, "Let me get my hands dirty. Let me help you." And
Yeah.
so that's what
So
I would
would you think
say.
if I don't know, Nick, I also want to see if you have specific
Mm.
questions you want to get answered to help you actually land the job.
Mhm.
But would you say if he, let's say he finds like the 10 closest HVAC companies in his area. If he goes there and he has like, let's say you find a screwdriver and maybe like an impact driver or like some kind of pliers, and you just say, hey, this is all the tools I have, but I'm here, I'm ready to work. If you want, like I can start right now. Is that like, would you think that that would be like something that might just land him a job right there? Or
I would, because I'll hire people too, and I've had some really bad apprentices and I've had some really good apprentices. And so if someone like comes in and eager and they don't like have everything, like we'll kind of help them out. Or I'm like, okay, for now you don't need your own set of gauges, you don't need this and this and this. You're going to be riding with me for, I don't know, 3 to 6 months just to get your feet wet. That's a lot. But if someone like comes into me and they're like, I want to, like, let's go. And if I throw them in the truck and they want it, like, let's get it. I've also had some really bad apprentices who at first are like, yeah, like I want to come work, and I'll have them meet me at a job site and they'll just walk in the store with like no tools. I'm like, where's your tools? Oh, they're in my van. I'm like, why aren't they in here? Well, what are you doing? And so like that just automatically puts a bad taste in my mouth, and they just won't work out. And I've had really good apprentices who are there 5 minutes before me and have every single tool they own out of their van and their cart ready to go up on a roof, and they put my tools away and they get my tools out of my van. They'd be like, what can I help you with? What do you need? They're in it. They're there to, you as an apprentice, you are there to assist your senior technician. You are there to get them what they need, hand them tools without being asked. And that's like a big thing for me. And even like the older guys in the trade, like it bugs when we're like, why isn't this up here? Like, why didn't you bring your rope? Like, so staying on top of this stuff is like super important, and it makes you stand out, and people will respect you. They'll want to work with you. They'll be like, yeah, send me that apprentice today because he knows his shit, or he can help me out. He gets my for me. And that's a big deal. Like, that's a big deal. Like, when I'm working with an apprentice, I don't want someone, who just sits there, like he's saying, with his hands in his pockets and like not, getting in it with me. Like, I'll be laying on the ground with my flashlight and I'm like, see this? And they'll be standing over me and they're like, well, what am I looking at? I'm like, well, first you got to like lay down with me and look at what I'm looking at, type of thing. So it's really important to be that.
okay,
Go
that's
like
awesome.
go cold, go drop in cold in these places with your resume and say, hey, like, go. And I bet, I don't know, like I'd give you a job. Like, I'd be like, okay, like this kid wants it, let's go.
I have one question. So, with CNL, when I applied, they were like one of the only companies that gave me an interview. So I still
Go.
kind of
Who did you get, an email or a phone call?
phone call.
Do you have that number?
Yeah.
Call him back and say, hey, you told me you'd call me back, and I'm calling you back, and I want to come in today for a second interview. Would that work for you? Push.
Yeah, I'll definitely call. I've been wanting to call, but like I kind of forget. But yeah, I definitely need to call them
You
back
forget what?
Go in there with
because I feel like that's like one of the best companies that's actually hiring around my area. So,
call him back. Call him back.
yeah, I think the only reason also because on Indeed they messaged me once saying that I missed an interview from them, and then I called the guy and he kind of sounded a little angry, and he said that on my first interview, or I didn't get a second, but he told me that to ignore that message, but I don't remember him telling me that on the interview, and he sounded kind of mad.
I don't know. I would just kind of start fresh and go back in there with a clean slate and say, hey, I've already talked to you guys before. I want in, but can we set up another interview?
Yeah, I would just go like, I mean, you decide what you want, I think, and you just make it happen, like obviously use the tips and show that you want to, I mean, you're here on this call, so you want to learn. Obviously you're showing that you're dedicated to that. So just maybe going that extra step and bringing some of your tools, maybe showing up in person and say, hey, I know I didn't get, like, you didn't call me back or something, so I'm here now. I have time right now. Is there somebody available? Can I maybe ride along with somebody? Can I hand them tools? Like, I don't know. Just
Yeah.
or maybe just work with them for a day. Say, hey, is there somebody that needs help? Do you have an install? And somebody called in sick. Like there's so many things happening and moving that maybe if you're just there at the right time in the right place, then they'll be like, yeah, this guy actually wants it. Because you do get it a lot where people say they want something and then they just drop out. So
Mm-hmm.
And then find, someone who actually wants to work and wants to, get straight. It's not common. It isn't common. What I can say too is, that saying attitude is everything. That's 100% true. And confidence. Confidence and attitude are going to be your best friends in this situation.
I agree. Nicholas, can I ask some questions? I don't know if you guys already asked before I joined, but I'd like to know a little bit more about Nicholas, and then that way, and then hopefully we can help you, guide you, get a job, but also you can help us help people that are younger get, look through what we're needing and seeing what you're needing.
Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, what's your age again? Remember your age?
I'm
I think I know
19.
19. I saw it in the school community. Yeah, you're 19. So, not too long ago, you were in high school. What made you choose HVAC?
Honestly, I think I just saw a bunch of videos and I heard there was like a lot of growth, and in the future there will be a lot of growth. And,
Mm-hmm.
well, I know I wanted to like do a trade. I just didn't know which
Okay.
because I didn't want to
Is
go
there
to
anybody in
college.
your family or somebody you watched growing up that's a hands-on blue collar mechanic or HVAC or electrician that you've seen?
From my closest family members, no. I think they just do like landscaping, and my other uncle owns like a gutter installing company or something like that. And they're in a different state.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you'd be new tapping into this industry then, in your closest family and your even any peer group, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you definitely need somebody close to answer questions. Like, be very involved in Sasha's community here, the HVAC game, because you will need people to answer questions. That's like, how do you diagnose anything? Um, so then, where do you see yourself in the next? I'm not even going to go 3 and 5 years. I'm going to say 10 years and 20 years.
In 10 to 20 years, honestly, I'd hope I have my own business by then. That's a long time.
Own business in HVAC.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, right. And so let's say you go without a job for hypothetically for this entire year, 22 in HVAC. You probably can get any other job, but in HVAC, what would you do to get closer to your desire to work in HVAC?
Honestly, I'd probably just keep studying. I've been watching a lot of like troubleshooting videos. I feel like I'd continue studying what I don't know, and probably just find different ways that I could get hired. Probably go to companies in person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So at least it sounds like you do want to be in HVAC. And I say that because 15, 20 years means you're like my own business in HVAC. So that means you're in this for the long run. So don't stress about 3 months or 4 months without a job in HVAC if you're planning on being in this industry 20 years. Right. So don't, get over, enjoy it. Enjoy, go, shift your mind, or your perspective on, instead of um, who's going to hire me, is what company do I want to work for? Right. And go on their website, follow their technicians on Instagram, on Facebook, see where they're at, where they hang out, interact with them, right? Um, Learn as much as you can about that AC company, and decide who you want to work for, right? What are the benefits? How much is they pay apprentices? How much do they care? And I would show up with my tools, and you don't need too many tools, But I'd show up and ask for a first interview and follow up. Follow up is what I would do. But at the same time, I started this with saying, what do you think companies, older companies like ours is a 14-year-old company, but I'm third generation in the industry, so I feel like an old soul in this industry. What do you think you would need from companies to make it easier for you?
Honestly, I think it's just experience. I feel like that's all companies been wanting.
Yeah, I would try to see if you can focus on some in-house grocery stores too. So I'm looking up in California, kind of like Kroger. I mean, here we have like Smith's and Fred Meyer's, and I Food for Less, Ralph's, Food Co. It's all the same shit. But in-house technicians, a lot of times they don't have time to like change out filters and like clean coils and do like and stuff like that. And so that might be a really good opportunity or a good end to try those in-house supermarkets where you're. I think those are like Food for Less and Ralph's and stuff. I would definitely go on their website or go to Kroger
Yeah.
if they have like maintenance positions open, because that's a great way to get your foot in the door, because that is industrial stuff, that is refrigeration racks, that is condensers, that's big HVAC, that's 5 ton working on. And I think that might be a really good opportunity to do that, because
Yeah, because they need people, and it's like it starts you because you can do the simple stuff like the filter change, tensioning belts and stuff, but then it shows up on your resume, so you're like in the field, like actually working. So it's good. I like that.
And what about,
Apartments.
well, did they give you any resources for jobs afterward?
From my trade school,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every trade school says that they will, but I mean they sent out like a couple listings, but they said they were gonna help, but they haven't really been helping that much.
What about reaching back and going back to the actual trade school and sitting with your teacher and say, hey, you know, like this is like where I'm at, this is where I want, I've been trying to get a job for 3 months, like help me out. Like that's what they're there for. Like they're a valuable resource that you just need to go get. They're not going to come to you.
Yeah, I've sent out a message to one of the ladies in the offices, and she said she was gonna help, but honestly, she didn't.
Just go back.
Also,
Just
yeah,
go into the office.
Go back.
I mean, I
Go
went
down
back
there.
once. I went back once because the like some union people were there talking about the union, and I just wanted to hear about it. So
I mean, yeah, look into the unions too for apprenticeships. I mean, people have mixed feelings about unions, but I mean, if a job's a job, and if especially if it gets you started out, I mean, being an apprentice in a union's great.
Yes.
yeah, I want to go apply.
Do it. Go down to the union hall today, or it's Sunday. Go tomorrow. Go down to the union hall and talk to somebody. I mean, there's people there.
I
I
would
know
I would just
there's
go in person. Like I would just go
yeah.
and just talk to somebody. And
Yeah.
if you don't find the right person, just go back the next day or next week and then talk to somebody else.
Yeah, like definitely, like I would, you know, like the phone call and email thing doesn't really work out, because like even me as a service technician and you know, service manager, when I get phone calls and emails, I get about, no joke, 50 to 80 of those a day, and I don't have time. And that's like a big thing for me, is like I my time is so limited in a day of where I can do things. And you know, if I'm at the shop doing some paperwork or billing or whatever, and someone like comes in, I'm like, great, you know, I was already here doing something, I don't have to take time in my day, I'll give you 10 minutes to talk to me, you know, that kind of thing. So a lot of places, they're busy, so going in person is going to be pretty valuable, and it also shows like, hey, you know, like I want to be here.
I also wanted to share two things specifically on like when you're applying though on the resume and also the cover letter. So I mean I applied last time like 2 years ago, so it's maybe a little bit outdated. But I wanted to say that when I had my original resume, I just put anything on there and I didn't even get an interview because I was working in Florida for the longest time. And then when I moved to Texas, I didn't know anyone. I didn't really have contacts here. And I just did the same thing like you. I just went on Indeed and I looked for job openings and I just sent out my resume, and it didn't really get me anywhere. I think I applied to 20 companies and I didn't even get an interview or a callback. So if you want, I can share my resume that I sent originally and then the one that I did afterwards. But the main thing that I changed is I was like changing my viewpoint, and I was, instead of like, this is what I do or this is what I want, I thought about what is the company actually looking for? Like, what would they be looking for in a technician? Because I know that I have the experience. I know that I've worked in the trade. Like, I'm like, why am I not even getting a call back? And then I just put in there, like, I don't know, it just came to me one evening. I was like, well, I'm originally German, and German craftsmen are like highly valued in the US. So I just put the first line on my resume. I said, born and raised in Germany. And I kid you not, that literally got me like 4 interviews. And that's when I got hired. And 2 of those people that got me the interview, they said they only looked at my resume because it said born and raised in Germany. So I'm
German
just saying, putting
engineered.
something, yes. um, but that's like, I thought about like, what is something that a company would be looking for, and what is something that I can uniquely provide that they're looking for. So that's something that you would have to think through. But as you said, like, as Frederick and Max said, they're looking for attitude and confidence. So see how you can uniquely position yourself to present that, you know. That was one thing. And then the other thing is also in terms of cover letters, because I just put like I just use the same cover letter for all of my applications. And somebody mentioned to me, when you apply to a company, they want to see that you're actually invested into the company, because they get so many applications every day that, like, if it's just a generic application, then they're like, okay, that's just another guy. But if you take the time and just look at the company website for like maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, and you go through the history, and you see what you connect with for that company. Let's say it's a residential company that is relatively small and they all serve senior citizen, and that's something that you really connect with. You're like, I want to help the elderly. Then say, hey, I saw this on your website and I love that about your company. That's why I want to work for you. Just put that in the cover letter, why you think that you would be a great fit for that company, or why you want to support that company. And that also gave me a lot more responses to craft each cover letter uniquely to that company. So those are 2 tips that I wanted to share, because I think that's very valuable. And even for me, that I had like 10 years of experience, I didn't even get an interview just because I positioned it incorrectly.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Do you know what a mission statement is, Nicholas? Mission statement?
No.
So most companies will build out a mission statement on their website and everywhere. Like mine's on my business card as well. Mission statement is why that company's in business. A lot of coaches that try to help us grow our businesses always talk about you should have a very clear vision statement and a very clear mission statement. And so, for example, our company is goodness, work ethic, and responsibility. Those are the 3 things we look for in people: goodness, work ethic, and responsibility. And those 3 things, we define them because goodness can mean different things to different people. Loyalty can mean different things to different people. A cartel, it could be very loyal, right? But they're not good people, but they're loyal, right? So, what does loyalty mean, right? There's actually, I'm going to give an example. One of my technicians always talks about that he heard on the radio. Somebody gave back $10,000 that they found, and the radio was like, "Oh my God, we want to put you and your wife on the radio and seen and how honest you were because you're giving back this money. That's honesty." And he's like, "No, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to. I don't want to go on the radio. I don't want my face seen." And it's like, "Wow, you even want to do it anonymous? That is, most people would want to know how great of a person you are by by giving back this money. That's so honest of you and your wife." And he's like, "No, I don't want to go on the radio because this is not my wife. This is my girlfriend." And he was married, right? So see, like he could be a very honest person, but
In some areas.
in some areas, exactly. So that's why it needs to be very, very well defined. And most companies that care about their people will have a very good mission statement. And so see what the mission statement in their website reads. And if you align, exactly what Sasha was saying, if you align with, I want to work with elderly people, I want to work with goodness, work ethic, and responsibility, because I consider myself high work ethic and very responsible. We just happen to do air conditioning, but I can easily be doing plumbing. I could easily be selling widgets, right? But it's goodness, work ethic, and responsibility. And then also in my vision statement, it says be the best be the best company with because of their team, right? In the next 10 years. That's the whole goal. So I'm very team focused. So look for that mission statement, look for that vision statement on the websites of these companies. And if you can if that aligns to them, then you're switching your mindset to like, that's the company I want to work for. Not would anybody hire me. It's like, I want to go work for this company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Winston, I saw you just joined.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for taking the time.
Hey, so sorry I'm late. It was a misunderstanding on my part about what Central Standard Time means versus Mountain Standard Time, which is what I'm in.
Yeah. Plus,
No worries.
oh,
So Winston, he owns Dual in Phoenix. Now you're in Phoenix, Arizona,
Yeah.
and you do residential and light commercial.
Residential, light commercial. We're just a pretty small family company, but we did just go from a total of 12 employees up to a total of 17 now. And
nice.
the new hires that we just hired are all most of them this is their first HVAC job. So it
Wow.
is
You
it
see?
is possible to find a company that's willing to hire new guys and willing to hire trainees and guys fresh out of school and stuff like that. So I'm just here to say it's definitely possible, and the companies are out there. So don't give up.
Yeah, we just went through a bunch of things, and we had several really good advice. I think I don't know if Nick agrees, but I think it was good advice. Is there something that you would share, like because you said you just hired 5 people or 5 technicians, or you just expanded 5 people?
Yeah. I just hired 5 technicians. Most of them are, yeah, a good portion of them. This is their first HVAC job, and they're fresh out of school. I think obviously I don't know what you guys covered up till now, but at least from my point of view as a business owner looking to hire, um, some advice I would offer to those looking to get into the field, especially if this is your first HVAC job, is kind of setting aside your pride at the interview process, on the phone interview process, on the in-person interview. Set aside your pride, and just be willing to be humble, to show them that you're teachable, present yourself well. And we have some guys that showed up and they want to talk like they're from the hood, and they just want to short answers, talk like they're from the hood. They want to be a tough guy, and it's like, you know what? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a tough guy, but a different type of tough guy. I'm looking for the tough guy that's willing and able to put on a customer service voice. You know what I mean? So that's my 2 cents. I don't know how much of that you guys covered, or if you guys covered
No,
anything
that's awesome.
in that.
I wondered though, like out of, because you said you hired 5 technicians, how many applications did you go through to hire for that? And then also, what was the main thing that made you decide on those 5 people versus the other ones? You obviously mentioned be humble and be teachable,
Yeah.
but
Good
is there
attitude.
something else?
Yeah. I would say so. We started with roughly around 75 applications from Indeed.
Oh, damn.
Um,
Holy shit.
that my assistant helped me narrow down to maybe roughly 20. And we were looking specifically for helper positions. So, a lot of the people were kind of overqualified for that position. And that helped narrow it down. And then a lot of what narrowed down even more from the 20 to the 5 that did get the job was just that their attitude, the way that they presented themselves, and, the willingness to show up, the willingness to do the things that really didn't make sense. I have people fill out a paper application still. And to some guys, it's like the attitude when you hand them a paper application, it's like, ugh, and it's like, that's what I'm watching. What is your attitude when I hand you a paper application You got to roll your eye and say, really, it's 2026. Why am I filling out an application? Or are you going to say, yes, sir, and fill it out, to the best of your ability? And
Yeah.
that's, part of what helped narrow down from 75 down to 5 and got them.
That's crazy. That's like less than 10% even. But I mean, I like your approach. I love it. It's so good. And as a person there for the interview, you don't even think about it. Like it just really reveals who you are as a person, because you're like, really, do I need to do this? But that's not like, as an HVAC tech, you go there and sometimes you have to do things that you're like, I don't know why I need to do this, but we just need to make it work. So it's like it actually looks for what you are required to do in the field. So I like that.
Yeah. Having a
Exactly. Yeah. If you're willing to hop on and do something that you feel is unnecessary. But I'm sorry, go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
No, I was just saying, like, in like my experience or like my hiring process, I'm a big judger based off of like, well, attitude, of course, but like the handshake you give me. If you give me some like limp ass handshake, even though like I'm a woman, you're done. Like you're done. Like I hate that shit. And I think it's super important to go in there like a little bit confident, like shake my hand good and make yourself like presentable as like a strong person, and like that I feel like it makes a world of a difference. So like, going with a good handshake as well. Like that's a good advice, especially from my end.
Yeah. I had a guy give me a hug, man. An Ecuadorian older person. I hire a lot of older people. It's crazy, like in their 50s, closer to retirement. And that's funny how you brought up the handshake, because the guy just met me, and then he's treating me like his son, and he like he gives me a handshake and like hugs me. He goes, "If I work for you or I don't work for you, I'm just happy I met you." This is all in
Oh,
Spanish. The guy's in Spanish.
yeah.
I'm just happy I met you, man. Like nobody's given. I do 3 interviews before I hire somebody, and then the fourth interview is really the offer. But I'm scheduling them another fourth interview. Kind of like Winston saying, like people that are willing to do 3 or 4 interviews, if they're looking for a job, a lot of times they go for the first person that hired them with 1 or 2 interviews, and then with me, they're like 3 interviews, 4 interviews. Like on the first interview, it's just a phone. The second is it's in person, and we give them a test, a technician test. And it doesn't mean pass or fail. It's more to see how much they know technically on paper, right? And then that way we know how much we need to train them. But so that guy, we gave him 3 interviews, and I I don't jump in until the second or maybe the third interview, and he literally gave me the a hug. Kind of made me feel like I know this guy a long time. I'm hiring him just because of not handshake, but
Yeah.
that like he made himself feel like I'm just happy I met you. So yeah, I think that can tie into confidence. That guy showed a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And he was
Maybe start with
personable.
your handshake first.
Yeah, but he did start with the handshake, exactly. And I just kind of feel like I don't know Mac, but just from the few times we've talked, and you say that right now, I almost and also what Winston just said about a lot of guys that come from a hood. And I live in Houston, Texas, so we have a state penitentiary on Huntsville. So a lot of these guys learned HVAC in locked up, right?
Yeah.
And so it you have to look at everybody, but it's going to be very hard for me to send somebody with a criminal record to a home. But maybe commercially, I can give them one opportunity, send them to But I don't know this because a lot of times they don't disclose it until you ask questions.
Until you send them to a military base, they're like, I actually can't get on the base. I have a felony. And you're like, okay, great. That would have been
Yeah,
nice to know.
yeah, and so that's when we got very deep into our interviews. It's crazy. I hired somebody to do a lot of my first and second interview, and we went through 75 different interviews before we hired 3 sales reps 2 years ago. And out of those 3, I don't none of those 3 work for me. None. And so it's because it's also very difficult for us to hire the right person. So that's why we have to go through all of these steps to hire the right person. So you really have to stand out, I think, and in that first impression. So that good handshake, I think, is a way to stand out. The way
Yeah.
you talk when you show up. I just had like very huge grammatical errors right now. The way I was saying, yeah, none of those guys work for me. I don't know how I said it right now, but those little things when we are looking for, can this person communicate? Can this person help me grow the business? Right? Grow the business. Ultimately, if we make money, we can pay you well. If we
Yeah,
don't make money, it's very difficult for us to pay you well. Right? So ultimately, is that do you also have those skills to communicate, to bring on customers, to bring on leads, right? To bring on, so yeah, I just wanted to
definitely.
tie into the handshake.
And shop attitude as well is everything. Like when I'm hiring somebody or interviewing them, I basically go off vibes. That's like my big thing. Is I'm like, will this person get on with the rest of my guys, or is he, not gonna, fit in or cause problems for me, or won't respect me or whatever. So I definitely go off of that as well. It doesn't matter how qualified they are. If they're the best technician on paper I've ever seen, if I get like the vibes are off, or I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna work out, I'm not gonna hire them either. So
Mhm.
like that's a big thing as well, to make sure like your values and the way you are aligns with the culture of that workplace or the shop too. And
Mhm.
that's easier said than done.
Right.
So Nick, do you have some more specific questions for your situation in your area? Or is that kind of like helping you to kind of clarify how
Honest,
to go about it and maybe give you like a better approach?
um, yeah, I think it's helping me to like on like how to act and stuff from like when I get interviews. But also I have a couple questions. Like, are most interviews like the time that I did get an interview, they were asking me like a lot of like questions based on like my knowledge, right? Is that like for most companies or?
Yeah, they'll want to kind of see where you're at, but also they should have looked at your resume and knew that you just got out of trade school and you're not going to know a lot. And you can reiterate that in a professional way, saying like, hey, I don't know a whole lot about the technical side of this. I mean, I'm here to learn and I want to learn. I just got out of trade school, so my knowledge is like limited, but I'm here to work more, rather than be like, I don't know that. So how you come across and how you present yourself is like really important. And just,
Yeah,
reiterate.
maybe mentioning like I'm watching YouTube videos. Like I just got out of trade school. I'm applying throughout the day. In the evenings, I'm watching like troubleshooting videos and maybe name some like AC service
Yeah,
tech, like the big YouTube creators that really teach. So
yeah,
presenting it in a way, it's like not say I don't know, because like nobody wants to hear I don't know. You're like, I'm gonna figure it out. So
yeah, that's an
just
important one.
going from the perspective is like, I am just straight out of trade school. I am taking extra time. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm in this community. I'm like, you can use all of the things that you're doing to show how much you want it and how dedicated you are, I think.
Oh, also do uh, do a lot of companies do mechanical tests? Because I also had I went in for a job and they made me do a mechanical test, and honestly, it was kind of confusing.
Like car mechanical or mechanical as an HVAC
Not like
mechanical?
it wasn't anything to do with HVAC. It was
I mean, they probably just want to see
um
how mechanically inclined you are. That's all. Like, hey, if you use this tool for this kind of job, how would you tighten this bolt with what you have? It's probably just how they want to see how you think, if you're mechanically inclined.
yeah, honestly, it was confusing. It was like 50 questions.
Yeah. Or they're just trying to weed out the people that won't fill out a paper application,
Yeah, or take a
right?
test.
It could be,
Like,
yeah.
Mhm.
I
if you're
think
like,
it's less
try.
about like what you know, and I think it's more about how you approach the process. I mean, I don't hire, but I would think it's more about, because as a technician, like what you do is troubleshooting. So you're thrown in a situation that you don't necessarily know how to deal with it, and it's more about the attitude of, hey, I'll figure out how to do this. I'll call another technician. I'll call the lead, because the last thing that the company needs is, hey, we're sending you there. You're driving there for an hour or two, and then you get on the site and you're like, I can't figure this out, I'm leaving. So it might be, I think at least it's more about seeing where your knowledge base is, because I think any HR company can teach HVAC, I think. And I think they're looking less for that, for the how much do you know, just to get an idea, and more of the attitude, how do you approach the problem, I think.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just sit there and fill it out. If there's 50 questions, try to answer as I'd go through the first 50 and answer the ones I know and the ones I need to come back to. So if every page has 5 and I need to come back to 1 on this page, 2 on the next page, but at least if they give you a time, ask how much time do I have to fill this out, and try to answer all the easy ones that you know right off the bat. So if you get, and they only give you 30 minutes and you get 25 questions out of the 50, you're probably ahead of most people, because that's 2 minutes a question that you took, right, to read it and to answer it. So that's what how I would approach it, because at the end of the day, all for me, they are air conditioning questions for technicians that we give, and to me, it's just literally how many questions did they complete. We check for, like, I literally will look for 3 or 4. Did they get this one right? Did they get this one right? And then I just randomly open the pages. Did they get this one right? Yeah. I'm not gonna go through 50 questions on this new person that might not even work for me in interview, right? Mine is just like, okay, he passed interview 1, right? There were people there would be people who's like, oh, can I come back? Can I take this with me? Can I come back? And they don't sit down for interviews. I know that's a questionnaire you fill out here. You came for an interview, fill out here, and then you step in for the interview after you fill that out. And there'll be people that leave. Like, okay, well, that just freed up my calendar,
Yeah.
because I don't have. He just left. He left the paper there and left. Didn't want to take a paper questionnaire, and so that just weeded out that person.
Yeah, honestly, it was confusing because I thought it'd be HVAC related, but it had nothing to do with HVAC. And
Mm.
but I still filled it out, and they did make me do a paper application as well that I filled out. But
Good.
then they emailed me saying they're not interested. But
I keep trying. Keep trying.
If you want to work for them, call them, even if they emailed you. Hey, I'm
Yeah,
just
exactly.
interested. What
Yeah,
made you
exactly.
not hire me?
What can I do to improve or make myself more
Mhm.
qualified? You can always follow up and say, hey, or
Mhm.
call back a month later and say, hey, like, how is it looking now? I mean, now I know that we're getting into summertime, so a lot of the install, like, emergency calls are coming up again, and a lot of companies are looking for specifically helpers, install helpers. Like, I mean, Winston just hired 5 technicians, getting ready probably for the hot season. So right now is the perfect time to apply for it. Is there any other questions that you have specifically right now that you think might help you to land a job?
yeah, hold on, let me check my notes
Yeah,
real quick.
no worries, no worries. Because you're probably the perfect person to ask these questions, because I've gotten, like, I still can't believe it. According to, like, the job data, we're supposed to need like another 100,000 technicians in the next 3 years. And then
Mhm.
literally over the last 3 months, I got like, I don't know how many, but it's like so many DMs of people asking me, is like, hey, how do I get a job? I just finished trade school and I've been applying to jobs for 3 months and I can't find anything. And that's really what led to this. And I'm like, I feel like there's some kind of
Disconnect,
disconnection there. Like, yeah,
of
there's some
course.
kind of disconnect.
Yeah.
Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like if you really want to get into the HVAC world as a new technician, you have to be willing to change who you are as a person. You have to be willing to be the person that people want in their house. You have to be the person that businesses want in their business, working around their customers and with their employees. You have to be the technician that a company wants to hire and want the person that people want to be around. So you have to change who you are as a person if you want to get in somewhere and be with the people you want to be with. It's like you have to be a person that people want to be around. And
It's
it's
true.
like that's a very forward way of putting it, but you can't just be the guy who's like, I'm gonna be tough, I'm gonna talk like I'm from the hood, I'm gonna stand here with my arms crossed. Like, no
Yeah.
one wants to be around
No,
that,
no hood rat shit. No hood rat shit. Put that
no
away.
one wants to be around that. You have to find your
Yeah, I don't know.
customer
I don't
service
act like
voice.
that.
If you haven't found your customer service voice yet, start working on it. That pleasant guy that people can talk to on the phone, that people can have a face-to-face conversation with. And you have to find your customer service voice and your customer service personality.
And that's a hard one. Like, that's
Mhm.
a hard one.
And it's nonstop. You keep working on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. and it'll make you definitely stand out as well.
Mm-hmm. So what was that question, Nicholas? Hit us.
Honestly, I don't know which one to ask.
Ask
Answer
them
Like
all
I
both.
of
have
them,
a lot
or
of like
just yeah.
apprentice related questions. Like, how does it work? Because I obviously I haven't had a job yet. So, do they just make you like ride along with someone and you just watch
Yes.
them, or
Yes, you're going to be the helper. You're going to be the, hey, go get me a recovery tank. Go get me my vacuum pump. Hand me this tool. I need you right above me watching me. I need you to go turn on the thermostat inside. You know, that's all it is. It's you're going to be hands-on with that person. And if you're not, you're apprenticing with the wrong person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're basically going to be their bitch, to put it in lamest terms. That's what you're going to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look for my
so
apprentice. Like, will you make a good bitch? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, you're riding with me.
Yeah. And then
I want to
the
work for you now, Mac.
no,
Yeah,
and then
carrying things on the roof. I'm weak.
but the better you are at that, the person leading you, the more he will or she will help you learn. Because like, man, this guy is like he's not really asking me to go home early. He's not on his phone. He's just
Yeah,
attentive. I'm gonna
yes,
teach this guy. I
that
am
is
gonna teach
one
this guy.
thing
You
that I
know?
look for. If you're on your phone, no. If I give you the option around 3 or 4 o'clock and there's still 5 more calls on the board, I'm like, hey, so do you want to go home? If you say yes, you're out. If you say no, I'm like, all right, that's what I want
Hmm.
to hear. We're going to Costco now. It's 5 p.m. and you
You're
live
tricky,
2 hours
man.
away.
You're
Doesn't
tricky,
matter.
dude.
Hmm.
You know, like, that's a big one. It's basically all a test.
Yeah. And then when you're in the van, I've also had technicians always pass out on me at that first service call. They're like still sleepy versus a technician that wakes up and he's like there with his coffee and talking to me and asking me this and maybe that's the time he's social medias and like, hey, have you seen this? And we're talking, not just on his own social media, but like he's on uh Sasha's social media and we're talking about Sasha, right? The HVAC game together. We're connecting in that 30-minute traffic or whatever to the next job versus the guy that's like passing out or on his own social media, right? Like there's a difference. You got to connect with that person that you're going to
Absolutely.
work with.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, shoot. What's your next question?
all right, let me see what's the next question.
That's a good question. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Because how does it look for us? We've been in the trade a long time, right?
Yeah.
All right, so how long does it take for like an apprentice to usually start like going on calls alone?
I give them a year. And that's if you're really good, I say with like in 6 to 9 months. If you know your basic stuff, like right now with my apprentice, I'm gonna send him on some HVAC stuff because that's a background. If I have a rack down 2 hours away, I'm not sending him there. He's not ready. So I would say once you really know what you're doing and what's going on, I say a year. I don't know if anyone else can agree or disagree or what your experience is with that.
In my personal opinion, I'd say it's going to be up to the person, the technician themselves, how soon they're ready to get out and do that stuff. I've had a guy who was out running calls and killing it, and he had only been in the field for maybe 3 months, and he was already out running calls
Yeah.
by himself. And it's also because he was an amazing communicator, and he had good comprehension skills. So I could talk to him over the phone, and I could help him with anything he was stuck with over the phone. So work on your communication and comprehension skills, which means you can understand what people are telling you. Um, and then on the flip side, there's people like myself that are slow learners, and I wasn't running calls by myself until I was maybe in the field for 3 or 4 years. So I'm the complete opposite of that, where I'm a slow learner. I need repeated information. And it took me a while to be able to run calls by myself. But part of that was because I didn't decide or really commit to learning it until a little bit late. And once I made that decision and that commitment to really master it, that's when I was able to kind of like, okay, I'm going to recall, and remember what I learned last time. And I'm going to be able to put that into practice when I'm by myself instead of just calling someone all the time for help.
Yes. So what really, really
Huge.
helped me with that is, and I still do it to this day, I tell my apprentices or the people I work with, get out your phone notes app, take pictures and videos of what I'm doing, write down what I tell you, because you will 100% re-reference that. And you can just type in your phone number or phone notes. Oh, what does like wide R mean again on the thermostat? Whatever. And now you have that written down, and you don't need to call me and ask me. And so writing down everything, take as many pictures as you can, take as many videos as you can. If you can open up your video and say, hey, can you explain that to me again? I want to take a video of this so I can go back and reference it. Do it. That's going to save your ass so hard. Like, it will. Like, take notes. Take notes.
If
And
you
FaceTime would be your best friend as well.
Yeah, I agree. But if you're doing a residential work, a company that does a lot of residential work and then a lot of maintenance, like right now it's going to be maintenance season. It is maintenance season for us. It's already March. March, April for us is a lot of maintenance. So our guys, if we hired somebody right now, our guys are doing 2 maintenance a day for sure. Sometimes even 3, but we schedule 2 because then we leave room for a third time block to run a service call. And then if there's no, by noon, if there's no service call, then we'll schedule that third maintenance. So let's say if you are working at a company and doing 3 maintenance a day times 5 days a week, after this maintenance season, so March and April, on the third, you should be able to go run a full maintenance because it's a working system. You're not diagnosing, you're cleaning the unit, you're changing filters, you're checking amp draws. Right? You're just reporting stuff to the company. We need the maintenance done, and you're bettering your skills communicating with a homeowner. Mr. Homeowner, replace your filter. You need to replace that more often because you have pets, right? Instead of every 6 months when we're here, etc. Right? You're communicating. You learn by second month. You should already know how to. That's our number one goal is how can we get an apprentice to run a maintenance call by themselves? Because a lot of AC companies do not offer maintenance because it's not a big ticket item. We're literally doing it to help. Literally doing it to help the technicians stay busy and for the homeowner not to have urgency service calls. So we're doing it more for them than for the company making money. So we're doing it so you guys stay busy and for the customer not to have urgency service calls. Right. But that also gives us a huge opportunity to train people and get them in the field faster. So if they're just doing maintenance call, if you have a company that does a lot of maintenance, you could probably run a maintenance call by month 3, month 4, again, according to how confident you feel or the technician feels, of course. Mhm.
Is that
Also,
clear?
do you guys know a lot about the unions or no?
I know very little. They're big in Chicago.
That depends on where
I
you
know some people love it. I know some people hate it. I think it's what your own personal experience is. It takes a while to really get, I think, like into a position where you make a lot. But once you're there, I think it's very comfortable. That's kind of what I hear. But yeah, if there's an option, I would I would try it.
Yeah, I mean,
For
at this
me
point,
now, because I didn't start out in it, I'm good where I'm at. But yeah.
same.
I wanted to go apply, but when I did find out that the applications were closing in like 2 days, I had work and I couldn't go, so I had to miss it. And it's in LA. It's like 40 minutes maybe.
Well, when's the next opening?
It confuses me because it says they accept applications Fridays, but I know they have like a certain time when they do accept applications. I don't know if it's every Friday or
Yeah, call them. Look into it. Look on their website, and then go down
yeah.
there.
I sent out an email. They gave me a number, but I called it and they didn't answer, so I'll probably call tomorrow.
Nicholas, what did you think of my idea where I posted in the comments about the job, knocking on doors around your neighborhood and asking them to take pictures of their AC and then coming back with recommendations? How
Honestly,
willing are you to knock on doors?
Well, recommendations for what? Because I think he needs a better base first
Yeah.
to.
So in the community, I kind of just it was via text, so I didn't go too deep into it, but just like The hard part about knocking on doors is just you're a stranger, if somebody letting you in the house, right? Like, and you're budging into their time and it's their home. But if here's my idea on a new guy, and I had a cousin of mine do this in Dallas because he's like, I would really need a job because he got a DWI and wanted, to come to Houston to work for me. And I was like, I don't want you moving to Houston to work for me. What if you go knock on doors? Because he also wanted to start a paint company. I was like, go knock on doors around your neighborhood and start your paint company. That's what you really want to do. You just are looking for me for a job because you need some money now. But go start knock on doors. And so my idea is like, if you knock on doors and you tell them, hey, I'm your neighbor, I'm just starting HVAC. I just finished my trade school. I'm your neighbor down the street, and as part of my learning, I'm just wanting to take pictures of my neighborhood's air conditioners to learn the age of the equipment and see if there's anything that we immediately see that you can need help on. I'm not here to do any work, just I want to gather information of your air conditioner and then come back to you next week or in the following week with how we can help your air conditioning either save energy. I don't know what I can help you with until I just kind of take some pictures. Maybe I have a better script, but take some pictures. And if you walk with me, so you see I'm not doing anything to your AC, I'm just literally gathering information like the age of your equipment, if all the electrical components are safe, if carbon monoxide is exhausting, if you have a gas furnace, if you have electric air handler that a lot of fires are started in houses because of electrical components. So I just want to take pictures. Are you okay with that? And then I'll come back. I'll come back with recommendations. You look young, so I feel like you can use the I just got it at trade school and I'm your
Yeah,
neighbor.
but the
Right?
whole point of doing that is that you're gonna have, like, basically you're building a sort of like a customer base. You're building leads for a
You're
company, and
building
then you're
leads.
using those
Exactly.
leads, and you go to the company that you want to work for, and you say, hey, I went through my neighborhood, I have these 10 units that I looked at, here's like 2 potential repairs, this capacitor was low, and this is what I did. So
Well,
it basically shows
I'm not
that you're
even saying
already
open.
like dedicated.
I'm not even saying open up the system so you wouldn't know a
Oh,
capacitor.
okay.
It's more like, hey, look at this drain pan. All drain pans in Houston, Texas are rusted, and then that leaves that leaves the Studco, the exterior wall with rust all over it. So now they got to get a painter, and some scaffolding because it's a townhome to paint that house, and they still need to hire us HVAC contractors to go replace that drain pan. So there's always in every
Yeah.
picture, every AC I look at, most ACs don't have a surge protector, right? There's a surge protector right away. That's visible. Most ACs are missing proper insulation on their copper lines, right? So there's a lot of things that an experienced technician, an experienced company owner can say, yeah, just on like we can sell them insulation, we can sell them washing, the maintenance, and we can sell them on the surge protector just by looking at a picture from the outdoor. Right. And so all you're
Mm.
doing is gathering information, gathering that trust with that homeowner. And then you go to my idea is that you go to Winston and say, "Hey, Winston, I just knocked on 100 homes around my neighborhood, and 10 people let me in, and I have pictures of 10 people. I can continue doing this for you in other neighborhoods, right? I could continue and bringing customers if you give me a shot. If you give me an opportunity to start tomorrow, I'll give you this first 10 leads, and then I'll give you this first 10 customers, and but I also need you, Winston, to tell me what can I go back to these homeowners? What recommendations can I give them just by looking at these pictures? And challenge even Winston, say, can we offer them free maintenance? It's 10 customers, new customers. Can we offer them free maintenance? They're my neighbors. They're my neighborhood. I'm just saying because as soon as
Yeah.
Winston's company is in there, I'm sure Winston's going to say, yeah, they need a new drain pan. Oh, but this is a 10-year-old, 15-year-old system. Let's offer them a new AC. Are they ready to upgrade? You're bringing them leads. You're bringing them. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that idea, especially for new guys?
That would definitely help Nicholas to stand out. That is for sure.
Mhm. Nobody's coming to us like that way. Mhm. And if you're willing to do it again and again and again, knock on another $100 and another $100, there's a whole business of people knocking on doors for the solar companies. I get knocked on my door all the time for about solar panels. They're
I've seen
always
those
young.
videos,
I think
and I feel like it always ends up bad for those people.
I
well,
mean, I'm
I
in
think we
Texas,
covered a
and
lot of things today.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to say we covered a lot of things already. I just wanted to see like if there's some specific like tactical things. But I don't know. How do you feel about this, Nick? Because obviously you are in the position, so we're trying to help you and provide a resource for other technicians in your same situation. And I personally love Frederick's idea. Um, it will help you stand out, and it will probably give you a shot. But I'm just trying to see like where are we at? Do you feel more confident? Is there other specific questions? Is there like something else?
I think we should
Um,
group when you get a job. See where you're at.
I think his idea is good. I don't know if I'd be like ready for that, or like I don't know, with my talking skills. Like I feel like I'm still a bit iffy on that. I've definitely gotten better with talking to people. Just feel a little,
Yeah, maybe
I
this
don't
could
know.
be something you do like 3 to 6 months in with whatever company you end up with. Um, and then you can, better understand the equipment and what you're talking about and the wordage and, all that stuff. But
Also, is it is as someone who hires, is it normal for you to like ask for people's licenses like before an interview, like a picture?
Driver's license.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
like apply depending on the company, they may like run a background on you or make sure you just have a driver's license so you can drive because they'll give you a company vehicle. So yes, they do run that.
yeah,
But
we do have
before
a
the
spot
interview?
on that paper application where you have to fill out, add your driver's license number.
Yeah, no, it's because I applied at this company, and then they messaged me saying asking if I could send a picture of my license front and back, and I still have like, it was before I even got to the interview, or
What
Mm.
company?
They also might be looking to see how old you are, what you look like, how much you weigh, which are questions that you're actually really not allowed to ask somebody, but that's information you can get from a document like a driver's license.
Yeah.
But
makes
don't
sense.
think too much about why they're asking you stuff or what they're asking you. Just be willing to answer all their questions, be willing to give them everything they're asking for. And that's what they're looking for. But don't worry about why they need your driver's license or why they're asking you to do things. Just do it. Just
Unless
do
it's
what they're asking you to do.
unless it looks
What?
sketchy, don't do it. Unless it looks sketchy and like some
Well, if
internet
it's a
scam.
legitimate company, I mean, if it's a
Yeah,
legitimate company, yeah.
I would,
It was from Indeed, so
yeah. We'll go to
How
the
many
app.
companies have you applied to, Nicholas?
good amount.
Do you know how
He said
many?
about, well, he estimated about 50 or 60. He doesn't know the exact number.
Either that or like around 40 probably.
Wow.
Mhm.
And why do you think that you haven't been able to get a job after applying to 40 companies? Has that been covered?
I feel like it's mostly because they just don't really answer.
They don't answer what?
Like they don't get back. I don't get emailed back, or messages on Indeed. I just don't hear
You're
anything
saying,
back.
how many interviews have you done out of the 40 you've applied to?
I've done only one interview, and then with another company, I went in for the mechanical test I was talking about and filled out an application in person. But that's about it.
So only two interviews out of 40 applications?
Yeah, I changed my resume as well recently. But yeah, mostly just projection letters. So
Yeah, you might want to strongly look at revising your resume, making sure it's, even if there's not a lot on there, making sure that it's set up correctly or have someone help you look at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's better now.
Yeah. I can
Is
share the one that I mentioned earlier, where the one that I originally used that did not even get me an interview, and then the revised one. And I think really like one of the top things is the first paragraph, the first page. People look through and see if that's like something that resonates with the company. But I'll post it in the community, and then you can see the before and after, the one that didn't even get me an interview, and then the one that got me hired. because I think that was a big change for me too, because I applied to 20 companies and I had 10 years of experience and I didn't even get an interview. So I think it makes a big difference on how you present yourself on paper.
Mhm.
Hey, Nicholas, my name's Kirk Barrett. I've been listening to this whole call. You've got three business owners, three employers on this call. Hopefully you're going to be able to watch this YouTube video. If you don't watch this video 25 times and take notes on everything that they've given you, get your hustle together, get your answers crisper, get your customer voice ready, take some of these tactics that they're giving you to stand out, show up excited, show up prepared, show up, and get turn up the volume on your own attitude and your own hustle. You're not going to win. But if you listen to what these men and ladies have told you, and you take notes, and you literally take 2 hours and write down on a piece of paper each of the things that they've suggested to you, figure out what's going to work for you. Like I said, get your answers crisp, get your facts quicker together, and show up ready to hustle. You're going to land a job. But as I see you right now, you're not ready. But if you listen to what these people have told you today and up your game, you're gonna succeed.
Thank you.
Nice. I think that's a good message to end on.
Yeah,
I
I
love
agree,
it. Thanks,
guys.
Kirk.
That's solid. That was solid advice, Kirk.
Yeah, I love
Who's Kirk, by the way? Kirk, can you introduce yourself?
Kirk,
You
Kirk
probably did
works.
it later.
I'm an HVAC groupie.
Okay, awesome.
I started Schedule. I was the co-founder of Schedule Engine. You guys might have seen or heard of that as a tool
Yeah.
in the HVAC trades, and Rev Dial for how to get leads on change outs. And I also built a lot of HVAC technology. But I'm not the hero here.
Okay, so yeah, I'm familiar with Schedule Engine. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well,
Alrighty, guys.
yeah.
Well, I loved it. I appreciate all of you coming here, and it means a lot to me that you're coming here and giving back to the community. It's Sunday, and you're all taking an hour and a half by now to answer questions. There was so much value on this call. So yes, please go through. We're gonna post this in the community. We'll also post it on YouTube to provide a resource for new technicians. And if you have any more questions, just go in the community and ask there. We're there to help you. And then
All right.
do those things and then find the job. And all the
We're
best
cheering
luck
for
to
you,
you.
We're cheering for you. If not,
Thank you,
we're also
guys.
failing with you. We're cheering for you.
So good luck in your event, Nick, and keep us posted and continue to ask questions and get after it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And I see
I
you
really
guys.
appreciate it. I love seeing
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Okay.
Good
Goodbye.
feedback, guys. You guys are amazing. Congratulations.
Thanks for joining, Kirk.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.